Hello and welcome back, dear viewers, to the channel where we delve deep into the ever-evolving world of the British royal family, the stories of grace, scandal, and strategy that shape one of the most watched institutions on Earth. Today, we turn our attention to a quietly unfolding chapter, one filled with tension, reflection, and carefully measured distance. It's the story of two women navigating the emotional storm surrounding their family, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, the daughters of Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson, as their parents face one of the most critical and public reckonings of their lives. These royal sisters have made a deliberate and discreet exit from the United Kingdom. But make no mistake, this isn't just a vacation, it's a strategic retreat, a subtle yet meaningful act of preservation as the winds of controversy swirl around their family name. Before we dive into the details of these two very different escapes, one steeped in diplomacy, the other in personal healing, take a moment to like this video, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss our deep dives into the hidden truths of royal life. Now, to understand the motivation behind their sudden departures, we must look at the immense pressure currently bearing down upon them. Both sisters have grown up under the shadow of their parents' public struggles, but the weight has never been heavier than it is now. At the heart of the storm lies Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, whose past associations have resulted in devastating consequences, the loss of his military honors, royal titles, and public duties, following what insiders describe as painful but necessary discussions. With King Charles, the Duke formally announced his complete withdrawal from royal life. This decision, presented as a gesture of responsibility, was paired with his continued denial of the allegations against him, creating a complex dual reality, a public fall from grace and a private insistence on innocence. For Beatrice and Eugenie, this situation has been nothing short of agonizing. As King Charles's nieces, their behavior, travel, and even silence are closely scrutinized, every move reflecting back on the monarchy itself. Their timely departures from Britain appear to be far from coincidence. As the crisis deepened and their father's fate became clear, the sisters quietly charted separate paths abroad, each seeking refuge and clarity in her own way. The first to step forward into this self-imposed exile was Princess Beatrice. At 37, she traveled to Saudi Arabia, not for leisure, but for purpose. She was spotted attending the Future Investment Initiative, FERI, in Riyadh, an influential global conference often dubbed Davos in the desert. This was a calculated public appearance, signaling Beatrice's growing role as a bridge between the royal family's legacy and the world of international diplomacy and business. Even if her status as a non-working royal technically keeps her outside official representation, the Future Investment Initiative, often referred to as Davos in the desert, stands among the world's most powerful gatherings, uniting heads of state, global CEOs, and leading financial minds to shape the conversation around technology, sustainable development, and the evolving economy. For Princess Beatrice, attending such an event wasn't just a social appearance, it was a strategic move. By stepping into this environment of global influence and economic foresight, she signaled a deliberate effort to redefine her image, from royal daughter under scrutiny to professional woman of purpose and intellect. This is the subtle art of soft power, leveraging prestige not through titles or privilege but through presence and participation. In Riyadh, Beatrice wasn't representing the crown officially, yet her attendance naturally drew the attention of international media and business elites. A photograph later surfaced online, an informal snapshot capturing Beatrice alongside podcast host Sunil Sharma. Though casual in tone, it served as undeniable proof of her engagement at the summit, a glimpse into her carefully maintained balance between visibility and discretion. For a royal keen on keeping a low profile, appearing at an event of this magnitude was a masterstroke of control. It allowed her to justify her absence from the UK while still maintaining a dignified, purposeful presence abroad. Her husband, Edoardo Mapelli-Mozzi, a respected property developer with international connections, is often by her side during such engagements. Even if he wasn't publicly photographed this time, Beatrice's solo presence was enough to convey a message. She stands confidently in her own professional identity, away from the turbulence surrounding her family. The destination itself spoke volumes. a conference dedicated to future-oriented investment and progress, standing in stark contrast to the historic controversies tied to her father's past. In choosing Riyadh and the Fa'i, Beatrice wasn't running away, she was repositioning. Meanwhile, across the continent, her younger sister Princess Eugenie sought refuge of a different kind. At 35, and a mother of two, Eugenie opted not for boardrooms or global forums, but for something far more human, a moment of peace, friendship, and normalcy. Her quiet escape took her to the heart of France, to Paris, the city of art, love, and reflection. Where Beatrice's trip carried the weight of diplomacy, Eugenie's was rooted in emotional release. Amid relentless public scrutiny and her father's downfall, Eugenie chose a simpler form of healing, a girl's trip. Her brief getaway came to light through a single photograph posted on social media, a radiant image showing her smiling beside two close friends, with the majestic River Seine and the Eiffel Tower rising beautifully in the background. It was more than just a vacation photo, it was a symbol of resilience, a rare public moment where she appeared truly at ease, free from the heaviness of royal duty. For a mother balancing two young children and the constant hum of controversy, this snapshot spoke of emotional strength, reminding the world that beneath the titles and headlines lies a woman seeking balance and joy. In these parallel journeys, Beatrice embracing high-stakes business and Eugenie embracing emotional renewal, the sisters revealed two contrasting but equally powerful ways of coping. One turned outward, toward purpose and perception. The other, inward, toward healing and humanity. Together, their stories paint a portrait of modern royalty navigating an ancient institution under pressure, not through grandeur, but through graceful survival. A deliberate absence, skipping the prestigious pink ball, perhaps the clearest demonstration of the sisters' commitment to strategic invisibility, came not from what they did, but from what they didn't do. On Saturday, the 18th of October, just one day after Prince Andrew's official announcement relinquishing his remaining royal honors, London's elite gathered for a glittering occasion, the inaugural Pink Ball, held beneath the magnificent roof of the British Museum. It was a social highlight of the season, an event brimming with aristocrats, philanthropists, and high-profile figures. Attendance from members of the extended royal family would have been almost expected, especially from Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, both known for their involvement in various charitable causes. Their absence was not an oversight. It was a conscious act of restraint. They understood that even a fleeting appearance would have shifted the entire tone of the evening. The flashing of cameras would not have celebrated the gala's charitable mission. Instead, every lens would have hunted for reaction shots, every headline the next morning dissecting their demeanor in the wake of their father's scandal. By not attending, the princesses effectively denied the tabloids their narrative. Their silence spoke louder than any public statement could have. Whether abroad or quietly staying home, they executed a textbook move in royal crisis management, preservation through absence. But withdrawal was never meant to be permanent. Just days later, Princess Beatrice began her carefully calibrated return to public life. Her reappearance came through a modest charity engagement, one intentionally subdued in tone and scale. Accompanied by her husband, Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi, she re-entered the public eye on her own terms. No red carpets, no gala spotlight, and certainly no grand fanfare. This event served as both a test and a statement. Beatrice was not retreating from her responsibilities, only redefining how she fulfilled them. The phrase circulating in the media was telling: she kept a low profile. The choice of a smaller, quieter venue wasn't accidental. It minimized spectacle, allowed her to focus on the charitable cause, and subtly reminded the public that she remains committed to positive service, even when her family's name is under intense scrutiny. Standing beside Edoardo also had layered significance. His presence framed her not as Prince Andrew's daughter, but as a modern royal woman, a wife, a mother, and a working professional balancing personal and public life with dignity. The recent movements of Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie reveal something far deeper than mere travel plans. They illustrate the fragile balancing act faced by the younger, non-senior royals, those who live in the long shadow of the institution but are not shielded by its direct authority. Both women carry a complicated inheritance. They are the daughters of Prince Andrew, whose reputation has suffered an irreversible blow, and Sarah Ferguson, who has herself endured decades of media storms and financial difficulties, and yet, in the quiet choices they make, in absences, in restraint, in understated appearances, these two sisters are shaping a new kind of royal survival. One not dependent on public adoration or ceremonial roles, but on self-awareness, adaptation, and emotional intelligence. Their story is not merely one of retreat, but of resilience. In a family where every gesture is magnified and every silence analyzed, Beatrice and Eugenie have managed to reclaim the rarest royal commodity of all, control over their own narrative. The description of Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie's current situation, as the fallout of their parents' controversies, may sound harsh, but it's an accurate reflection of the public reality they must quietly endure. Their present course, physical separation through international travel, and psychological distance through purposeful engagements, reveals a deliberate and intelligent strategy. These sisters are not running away, they are redefining themselves. They are striving to build identities as wives, mothers, and professionals, independent yet loyal, private yet dignified, while navigating the lingering shadow of their parents' reputational struggles. Prince Andrew's formal decision to relinquish his remaining titles and honors was by every measure an institutional necessity, but for his daughters, it was something deeper, a deeply personal reckoning. It signaled that the royal establishment, though still bound by family ties, was drawing a line of separation, and so Beatrice and Eugenie now stand in a uniquely precarious place, close to the king by blood, but distant from the monarchy's inner circle by circumstance. Every move they've made since has reflected a sophisticated grasp of modern media dynamics, the business-oriented diplomacy of Beatrice's visit to Riyadh, the gentle Parisian respite taken by Eugenie, and their notable absence from the glittering pink ball at the British Museum. Each gesture was intentional. Each decision whispered the same message. Sometimes silence and distance carry more power than words ever could. They are waiting wisely for the storm to pass, a quiet endurance that captures the essence of grace under scrutiny. In the grander context, the recent actions of the York sisters represent a masterclass in royal crisis management through restraint. While their father's fate was being finalized in private discussions with King Charles III, his daughters were carefully curating their public absence. At 37, Princess Beatrice projected poise and professionalism by aligning herself with global economic dialogue at the Future Investment Initiative in Riyadh, far from the tabloids but close to meaningful influence. At 35, Princess Eugenie's candid smiles in Paris reminded the world that behind every headline stands a human being, a mother, a friend, a woman seeking peace. And when both sisters chose not to appear at the Pink Ball on the 18th of October, it was not retreat, it was strategy. By resisting the gravitational pull of publicity, they preserved what their family needed most at that moment: dignity and silence. These decisions reveal a profound truth about modern royalty, that sometimes, the greatest act of service to the crown is knowing precisely when not to appear. In an age of relentless exposure, Beatrice and Eugenie's restraint speaks louder than any public statement. Their story reminds us that the survival of the monarchy doesn't just depend on tradition, it depends on adaptation, on emotional intelligence, and on the wisdom to step back when the world demands spectacle. What do you think of their approach? Has their measured silence helped soften the public impact of their father's controversies, or should they have faced the storm at home? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us again for our continuing exploration into the lives and legacies within the House of Windsor. Thank you for watching.